In this video, I'm going to show you a Facebook ad campaign that's incredibly effective at growing your audience in expensive countries like the US, UK, etc. But it's also really good at building retargeting audiences that are good for growing your mailing list, selling merch, or getting people to shows, or generating social proof. And essentially all this campaign is a video view campaign. It's very much like what Indepreneur would call their fan finder campaign, but it's a kind of a common Facebook ad campaign that a lot of different businesses have used for quite a while because it's really effective. And essentially what it revolves around, and I will show you how to create the whole campaign from scratch, what it revolves around is running a video view campaign, and then you're generating watch time on your video that you're running in the ad, and then you can retarget people later based on how far they watched the video. So you're actually usually running your ad on a full-length music video on your Facebook page. So on Facebook, when you run a video view campaign, Facebook will at most optimize for a 15-second video view. But ideally, we'd like to optimize for minutes of watch time, because that's the only way that we can really tell if someone really likes the song that we're showing them or the piece of content we're showing them if they watch a big percentage of it. So what we can do is Facebook has this thing called through plays, and that's what they're optimizing for. But we can actually make all these columns that can tell us how many people watch to certain percentages, 25, 50, 75, 95, and 100%. And so I made some custom columns where I can actually calculate the cost at different video view percentages. So we have cost per 50, cost per 75, and cost per 95% view. And this is roughly a 3-minute song, 3-minute music video, or in this case, I think it's a lyric video. So we're getting 34 cents in this audience per 95% video view. This one was 60, this one was $1.06, this one was 21 cents. So a 95% video view is like a 3-minute view, which on Facebook is it's like eternity, right? Like these people that are generating these 1,051 people, like they must genuinely like the song, right? There's no other way they would sit there for that long. So you can test several different audiences, and I will show you how to create this, but just so you get the concept, we can run these multiple audiences. So electronic rock, Depeche Mode, 30 Seconds to Mars. And these were just all of the US. This one I'm still running because this one's just running in specific cities in the US. So it's a little more targeted and the cost generally goes up in terms of location at least. But I wanted to test this out. So anyways, that's kind of the high level overview of what we're doing. Let's go actually build a campaign like this, and then after I'll show you how to make retargeting audiences from the data in this campaign. So if I come back to the campaigns window, I can click this create button. And now we have the new campaign objective dialog. Like when I run a conversion campaign for Spotify, which you can check out how to do in this video, I'm using the engagement option because that supports conversions. But in this case, video views are also an engagement. So this engagement objective kind of covers most things that a lot of artists will use. Now, I don't do any of these like tailored or things. I always just do manual, just because I know how to do it. You generally get more control. If you click the tailored thing, they kind of limit what you can do to make it easier. So I'm just going to call this test video view campaign. And in this case, in a lot of my conversion campaigns for Spotify, I turn this feature on, campaign budget optimization. But we want to be able to control which audiences we're spending money in, because Facebook isn't optimizing for 50, 75, 95% views. They're only optimizing for 15-second views. And it's relatively common where what gets you the cheapest 15-second view is not the same thing that gets you the cheapest 95% view or 50% view. So we're going to keep this off. So now we can go into the ad set, and this is where we're going to build out our audience. Now, we are doing our conversion location on our ad, and the engagement type is video views. Now we can pull down to the budget. Since we didn't check that box in the first page, let's just say this daily budget is $5. Now it's just for this audience as well, and that will be important in a moment. But we can go down to locations. In this case, for me, I'm just going to do United States, just people living in the United States. Ages, I'd like to go more specific in this type of campaign than for like the Spotify thing, because that's a conversion campaign. This is a video view, and generally I found you can be more specific, so I might do 18 to 35. And then we don't have to put Spotify or anything in there. We can just directly go in and throw what type of music we're targeting. And so, one of the things I did for the previous song was electronic rock, which is a music genre. You could put an artist in there. You could put in several artists in there. There's no real size limit, but this is too small. This is 21,000 people. I would want at least like 100,000, maybe a couple 100,000. So I'm going to click suggestions and add some other, what I would call electronic rock, or at least what I mean when I say electronic rock. I'm sure there's a lot of different ones. So I could go in here and I could do 30 Seconds to Mars. That might be decent. 9 Inch Nails. And I could do Marilyn Manson. A lot of people think Marilyn Manson is like super heavy, and in reality is kind of like pop music. It's like pop with a little bit of rock and some scary clothing. But that's kind of, you know, generally like rock mixed with electronic stuff. And that's actually relatively big. Who's the biggest guy here? 9 Inch Nails is actually biggest. Interesting. I could probably remove them and do them separately in this case. So I could do these three here. And actually, I'll do Depeche Mode because they're a little bit more electronic rock. 30 Seconds to Mars has kind of evolved over the years. So I think I might do these three instead. Now for placements, there's a lot of different things you could do, but you really want to be running on placements where you can run a full-length music video, right? And in particular, like that excludes all Reels and Stories right off the bat. We're also excluding a lot of placements that are for like pictures and for products. Instagram, technically you can do a longer video, but I like to do this campaign on just Facebook feed and Facebook video feeds. There is a way to do it on Instagram. On my Instagram, I can post videos as long as I want, but a lot of people only have videos like up to 1 minute. So I don't know why some people have different lengths, but for this case, we're just gonna do Facebook. If you wanted to do Instagram and you could post longer videos, then you want to do Instagram feed, Instagram Explore in like a separate audience. But don't worry about that for now. So I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to name this and call this USA Facebook Electronic Rock Artist / Genre. Now we can click Next. And instead of creating an ad, I like to use an existing post, because when you do this, all of the social proof stacks up on that post, meaning all the comments, all the likes, all the shares will stack up on that post, which that post can end up becoming an asset that's really useful later on, because you could keep reusing that post for different purposes, like for years, if you wanted to. So it's good to use an existing post for a campaign like this instead of uploading the video, because then every time you do a new campaign in it, all the engagement starts from scratch. So we're going to select a post, and I'm going to stop my screen share just because it might be on the wrong Facebook page. It's not. It's showing the right one. So I'm going to do published posts on Facebook, and essentially I'm just looking for videos already posted. So I already posted this video, Eye to Eye official lyric video, and you can see like this is the one I've been running on. So it has 139 likes, 13 comments, 69 shares. So every time I run it, it generally gets better and better, because like social proof is a real thing. And so essentially this video is ready to roll. Now, what we can do, so I would just call this Facebook lyric video, right? So the ad is done. That's all we had to do is just choose the video. You could turn on website events if you had like you wanted to have the option to track pixel stuff later. I usually do turn it on, but it doesn't really matter for this campaign. Now we have this one audience. Now we can duplicate this audience. And now all we have to do here is just change the targeting. So before I removed 9 Inch Nails. Oh my God. Facebook, for a company that makes $70 billion a year, is kind of glitchy. Like the page is constantly jumping around, which is obnoxious, but it is what it is. So now I can rename this to NIN for 9 Inch Nails. And I would probably do at least 3 or 4 or 5 of these, like at least 3, I would say, but ideally probably 4 or 5. And so you essentially, every time you do this, you're just coming in and you're just choosing a new target. In this case, 30 Seconds to Mars might be the other one, and they're a little small compared to the other one, so I might pair them with Imagine Dragons and maybe 21 Pilots. So now I have these 3 artists here, and I could just call this Electronic Artist 2. You could be a little different with your naming scheme, and I'll just call it 3 there, but you could definitely do more. But keep in mind that we're using ad set budget optimization. That's why the budget is defined here inside of our ad sets. So each one of these is spending $5 a day. So just be mindful of that this campaign is spending $15 a day. And if I flip back to the other campaign that we had, I could go into black hole lyric video, and you will see, ignore the green. These are the ones we just made. They're in draft, so they always show up at the top. But you could see if I flip over to performance metrics, you can see that that's what we had here. The budget for each of these ad sets was $5 a day, and I have some of them turned off here, and so that's why they're off. But the reason why we do this is so after you publish this new campaign, you can look. So if you go to columns, you won't have video funnel. This is a custom one that I made, but you can use video engagement. And essentially, they're all spending the same amounts of money, right? They're all spending $5 a day. So you can just directly compare how many video plays you have at each percentage, right? And then you can just do the math in Excel and figure out what's what. Now you could feel free to look up how to do custom columns. It is easier, but don't worry about that for now. But then you can compare and start turning things off and adding new things in and testing to find which thing gets you the longest, the cheapest long video view based on whatever percentage you think is realistic. So that's how you actually run the campaign, but how do you use this data in a meaningful way? Well, the first thing you have to do is make what's known as a custom audience with that data. So we can go up here and go into audiences. And in this audiences page, we can do a bunch of different things like create retargeting audiences, aka custom audiences, or make lookalike audiences as well. And so I can just do create audience here, create custom audience, and we can choose a video source. And I might have to stop my screen share for a moment because sometimes it shows other people's Facebook pages. It's not showing one now. But choose an engagement type, and we could choose, let's say, 50% arbitrarily. And now I could do choose videos, and this is where it will show other pages. So I just have to come in here and search for my Andrew Southworth Facebook page, and now we have that selected. So at here, we're just looking at your Facebook or Instagram or campaign ID or video ID. And what you can do is just go find that video. And if you run a lot of ads, it might be kind of a pain because you just kind of have to keep clicking until you get to it. Now, in this case, I found it. If I click on it, we can see the sources, and you can see like how many views it's gotten. Essentially, you could click on the name and go watch the video to make sure it's the right one. But now we have it, so you could just click confirm, and we could call this, black hole 50% video views, and then click create audience. And then now we could use that audience in a bunch of different campaigns. So for example, if we were to make a new campaign, this could be any objective. It could be a conversion campaign to Spotify, it could be a t-shirt campaign, it could be an email list campaign, it could be a video view campaign, it could be whatever. There's a lot of different applications you can do, but the way that you use these audiences is the same. So essentially, you'll make your campaign, you'll define your budget, you'll go into the ad set, and this is where we actually incorporate a retargeting. So let's say we were doing a website conversion campaign, and we were trying to get people to go buy something. So we would choose the purchase event, which, interesting thing I never noticed. The purchase event is only available with the sales objective, and the lead one is only available with the leads objective. I've never noticed that. But anyways, it doesn't really matter. I'll just choose a random one that I'm not using. That's why I'm getting this iOS warning. But essentially here, if we go down to audiences section, there's this custom audience section. So if I click and search existing audiences, it's eventually going to drop down with our custom audiences. And so I could go through and I could choose 25% video views, full length videos. Just for example, I didn't save the black hole one because I don't need it. But this would essentially be that black hole 50% video view audience. Now, depending on the campaign you run, you want to be mindful of the size of this audience. You're probably not going to want to run a conversion campaign to an audience of like 1,000 people. They're going to get like repeatedly bombarded with the ad, and it's going to essentially spend the most amount of money it could ever spend in it within like a day. So you probably want to wait till you have a couple thousand people if you're running any type of conversion thing. If you're doing a traffic campaign, it can be smaller. If you're doing another video view campaign, it can be any size really. But this is how you incorporate it in there. And so the idea, again, the strategy with this is we're retargeting people who we know liked our music reasonably well, right? They watched a good amount of it. And so keep that in mind with what campaigns you might want to hit these people up with. You know they like your music. You just have to find a way to give them an interesting offer that, knowing that they like your music, that they'd be willing to take you up on. So one cool thing you can do with an audience like this is you could actually make a 95% video view lookalike audience. So it's a lot easier to get 95% video views than it is to get conversions in a certain country. At least it's a lot cheaper than doing that. So you could get a 95% lookalike audience and use that in something like a Spotify conversion campaign. It might not be the best application of a lookalike like that, but it would be a lot faster than waiting until you got, several thousand conversions on a Spotify campaign if you wanted to do that. And that's just one application. But if you want to see how to run a campaign like that, you can check out this video right here. And if you want to learn more about how you can use Facebook ads to sell CDs, you can check out this video right here. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next one. Bye.